So one thing that people don't know, or the diehard fans know, but the general public doesn't know, is "Me and My Girlfriend" wasn't the only song you were on with Tupac. You were on I can't remember if it's the intro or the outro, or it might be both, for a song called "Worldwide Dime Piece" that was going to be on the One Nation project, and I think they remixed it. The estate remixed it and put it out on like Tupac on a Tupac album called Pac's Life. Can you tell me the full story and details of how that came about?
Um, okay, so first off, I didn't even know that song's been released. I'm sorry, I'm a little shocked right now. Yeah, that's me on the intro. To answer your question, it's called Worldwide Dimes.
Ain't nothing wrong with getting a little piece of the east. No doubt. No, I stay on the West Coast, and I'm the queen with the most.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that song was out. I saw a page that's like a big Tupac. It's got all this Tupac information on it. And I saw video footage of the day that I recorded that intro. So I remember doing the song. I remember doing the intro to that song, but I had no idea that it was actually put on an album and released. And now that you're saying that, I'm sure that I haven't gotten my credit. And I know for a fact I haven't gotten any royalties from it. Wow, that's wild.
I keep saying that I think they renamed it to Worldwide, but actually, I think they renamed it to International, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, once we get done with this interview, if you can like Apple Music or Spotify International, you'll probably recognize that the verse is from the one that you were on with him, in '96.
That's wild. That's wild. But yeah, I remember recording that. That was a good day in the studio too, because if I'm not mistaken, that was his birthday. That was Tupac's birthday. And we were having a celebration when we recorded that song. Like it was a lot of people in the studio. The Outlaws. There was of course the engineers. There was Greg Nice. I think CL Smooth was there. I'm not sure if the guy that used to be in the group with Greg Nice was there. Oh man, we had us a good time. All of the Outlaws were there. But I do believe that was Pac's actual birthday. I think that was June 16th, 96. And yeah, he asked me to go in the booth again and say something. He never gave me any direction. He just used to say, he worked like that though. He really liked for people to just go and do their own thing and run it how you feel. And he gave you your own creative freedom, whether it was singing, playing bass guitar, or just doing intros and skits like I did. He really didn't give you a whole lot of direction. He just told me, I remember him saying, man, go in there and do one of them intros for me. And I went in there and I did that. And now that you're saying it, I kind of remember what I said, but not fully. I don't even remember how the song goes, but thank you for that information. I didn't know that was released years ago. That's crazy. I was wondering why on social media people kept asking me about that. I've been getting ever since I went viral last week, and I'm like, why do people keep asking me if I'm the girl on that intro? And I didn't know it was released on an album. So yeah, good to know. Looks like I'll be trying to get the royalties and the credit for that now too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So obviously, working at the studio, I have to believe that you saw and you witnessed a lot of legendary stuff, but also a lot of crazy stuff. Are there any like wild or crazy stories that stand out to you from your time working at the studio?
Oh gosh. See, a lot of things that I saw were kind of stupid things that didn't even have to happen. The dog pound, God forbid, it used to break my heart. And I don't know if any of these dogs passed away. I remember there being like dog fights in the studio. And I know for most people, that doesn't sound like something crazy, but I'm an animal lover. Like, I'm not even a meat eater, guys. So looking back on it, there were crazy things like dog fights, tons of engineers that were bitten and attacked by dogs because of that. Because, you know, dogs got feelings too. So, and dogs have trauma. So there were things like dog fights that went on. There were people that got jumped on a lot. I don't want to really say who some of those people are, because who wants things being brought up about them being jumped on and beat up? There was even arguments and wait a minute. Can I have a moment? Can I take a deep breath? Because I feel like I'm let me just can I get up and take it? Let me have a sip of water. Honestly, a lot of some of the bad things that happened, and I want to shout out some of the friends that Suge had, like Heron and Buntree, RIP to both of them. And artists like DJ Quick and Corrupt from the Dog Pound. A lot of those guys, because I was so young at the time, I was 19, probably going on 20. And Reggie Wright. I believe that they protected me from seeing a lot of bad things that were happening in that recording studio when it came to people getting jumped on, or if there were women that were disrespected in any kind of way. I will say that I did one time at a Jodeci concert. I saw Suge put his hands on a woman backstage at that concert. We were all backstage, and it was, I believe she became one of his baby mamas later down the road. But I literally seen him put his hands on a woman before. But anything that was actually happening in that recording studio, all of those gentlemen and Pac and the Outlaws, they made sure that I didn't suffer too many traumas there. And I've heard some of the stories, and the crazy thing about it is I couldn't believe that when some of those things happened in that recording studio, that I was actually there at work. And I was such a beloved energy that I was well protected from a lot of the things that were happening in Suge's office, that were happening in, like, right around the corner from, or if you went out through the backside of the studio, Suge had a full gym in there with mirrors and everything. So a lot of those beatdowns went on behind closed doors. I was there when they went down, but I was very much so protected. And I thank everybody that went above and beyond, even those that ain't with us no more, that protected my innocence.